Hi guys, welcome to this video. I'm Prajwal from Indy Crypto, and today I have a very important news to discuss with all of you guys. I have a guest whom you all might know before from one of my videos. He's none other than Vikram Nikkam, and he's here with us. I want to just go ahead and introduce him to all of you guys. Hi Vikram.
Hi Prajwal. Hello everyone. It's nice to be on the Indy Crypto platform. I think Prajwal has done a great job in putting all the videos together and a lot of information on the latest, crypto that's been taking shape. Because of the so many changes that's there, I think you definitely need a portal like Indy Crypto where you can get, an information about all those new things that's coming up in terms of forks, in terms of ICOs, in terms of fintech. I guess it's a great platform. Thanks, Prajwal.
Yeah, thank you very much, Vikram. So we've been speaking a lot, and you've been giving us a lot of information about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, be it your meetups or be it your posts on LinkedIn and stuff. So we just want to know more about you, and yeah. So tell us something about yourself, or personally, how.
Of course, it's Vikram Nikkam, and my childhood and schooling is all from Bangalore. I'm basically from Bangalore. I of course did my university from Delhi, and I did my masters in the UK. The masters was purely to understand finance and economics because I loved Bitcoin in 2009 when I heard about it. Since then I was like I wanted to learn more and then incorporate this Bitcoin in my understanding, so I took up the masters in finance and economics for that reason. But otherwise my background was a hotelier background. I've done my hotel management from Delhi, and after that I worked for a lot of good brands like Taj, Hyatt, Hilton, Kempinski. So while I was working for Hilton, which was the last job in the UK, United Kingdom. There's a place called Milton Keynes. I worked there for the maximum number of time. Totally, I was in the UK for about 7 years. My end of my tenure was when the recession happened in 2008. From there, actually, I got into Bitcoin because I was looking for answers on the internet.
So you got introduced to Bitcoin only because of the recession?
Yes, I must say that is how it started. So I did have some assets in the UK. It was like housing and things, which the pricing of those suddenly collapsed. I wouldn't understand why, because I come from India and prices of house and land don't just collapse like the way it did in the UK. So I was looking for those answers, and later I came to know with an intensive research that the collaboration with the banks is very strong, and then they together manipulate a lot of financial aspects in the system. So with that, when I came across Bitcoin, I read about Bitcoin that Bitcoin was going to be a standalone, and it was going to be a parallel system which will give the power back to people, allowing not centralized authorities to manipulate things, making it decentralized, making it open source for anybody to come and involve and develop great technology along with the Bitcoin technology. So those things really intrigued me and made me very interesting in it. One of the reasons actually why I even quit my hotel profession and I took up the later part, which is the finance and Bitcoin and startups and helping Indian community build all these kind of Bitcoin related startups.
Okay, so you are one of the guys in India, like you're one of the first guys in India to speak about Bitcoin and bring awareness about Bitcoin to the Indian community. So you started up with meetups and conferences, and you spoke at various places. So that's how the awareness started in India, right? So tell us more about that.
Yeah, actually, so when I finally found out the whole detail about the banking structure and the parallel system, which is Bitcoin, I was very interested in traveling the world and seeing what was really happening across the globe below, how much of people understand Bitcoin, what kind of adoption is there. So when I traveled for 2 years, I realized there was very, very little of, penetration of Bitcoin in the public. So I realized, okay, this is a great topic and very few know about it. And with that research, I eventually came back to Bangalore with my travel. And that research helped me understand that Bangalore has got a little bit more interest, and there was few people who were already talking about it. So I joined them, and once I joined them, there was no looking back. The reason when I mean to say no looking back is because there were a lot of people who would come and talk to us. Me being one of the few people who knew about it since 2009, I took the advantage of helping people, making them understand through these meetups. And when we used to meet people in these meetups, I realized there was a lot of interest in Bitcoin with them, but it's just that there was no Bitcoin portal or any kind of exchange that was set up in India. That eventually made me build an Indian first Bitcoin exchange. So that's how I got into this meetup and things like that, because meetup was one of the places where people come up with a lot of interest, and they share a lot of knowledge, and the question that they ask in the meetups was helping me get to know more of what's the real scenario of Bitcoin, how should Bitcoin be used in India, how should Bitcoin make these people's questions answered or make their work easier.
Okay, so you came to India, you started meeting people, and you also started conducting meetups. So, and you were also invited to several conferences, right? Like several colleges and even the RBI themselves and several financial institutions. They also got in touch with you and invited you to be the speaker in their conferences and also get more information about Bitcoin.
So what happened with those is since I was doing some meetups, and the first ever Bitcoin conference that happened in Bangalore, I was one of the key persons to organize that and be the speaker on the panel, and also regulate that and everything. So a lot of people took that scenario, and then they called me for these conferences. What they wanted in this conference, especially the RBI ones. The few people in RBI knew what was Bitcoin and how it's was going to change, but when they were trying to explain to their own seniors and colleagues, nobody would take it at the face value. So they wanted me to come and speak to them. So they used to call me, and I've been to Bombay for a couple of RBI meetings where I've met some really high officials of the RBI. And all they wanted to hear is from a third person like me, trying to explain to them how Bitcoin is going to change the structure of these finance today for the future. And I took the advantage, and I was really happy doing that. And I used to give them all my knowledge that is there. And a lot of times they used to talk about these redundant topics of fixing the existing system, where I had to put a stop to them, saying that you're wasting time here fixing the old things. There is a new thing that's here. Here's a blockchain technology which made Bitcoin famous, and that's how the blockchain is so secure. We know that because the value of Bitcoin predicts exactly that. So I was trying to explain to them all that, and it went well eventually, because they did understand that this guy is talking something different to what we are already talking. There has to be something, and they did take some interest. It was not just RBI; it was also the Income Tax Office. All of these high officials from the top departments in India wanted to know more about it. So I was glad I was there at the time to help them out. That was not just there. There was a lot of institutions like IIT and IIMs who wanted to speak about, who wanted to know about Bitcoin, who wanted me to speak there, which I did. And even locally in Bangalore, we had Dayanand Sagar College and the Stock Market Institution, and a lot of other small institutions who wanted to understand about Bitcoin. Luckily, I was around and I was free to spread the knowledge.
That's great. So you are you still being invited to all these institutions? What was your latest talk about Bitcoin, and where was it?
So I am still being invited a few places. There's some blockchain related conference that's coming up. It's mainly to do with the blockchain technology, how blockchain technology is going to change the accounting and auditing firms mainly first to start with. The rest of all the institutions that we have at a mass level, which is a transnational level, will all be using blockchain eventually in the future. So I was trying to give them a talk on that. The one that I did recently in the past was this startup or an incubator center, I would say, in Australia. They wanted me to be there and then talk to them about it, to their pupils. I got onto that. I couldn't get there in time because of my work schedule, so I was online, and then I met a lot of these people and gave them some inputs on how India is taking on the blockchain technology and how we're going to be working on around it and making useful for the public. So the Australians were very happy understanding that, and I think it was a very successful conference.
Oh, that's awesome. So you mentioned about Unocoin, right? So that was actually the first exchange in India that introduced Bitcoin to Indians. So we would have to thank you for introducing Bitcoin to Indians. Otherwise, everybody would have to buy it from international markets, and it was a really pain to buy from international markets. So tell us more about that. How did you manage to start Unicorn? What made you, and what was the motivating factor for you to start Unicorn in India?
Well, the motivating factor to start with, the main thing is the people, is the public of India, and especially from Bangalore. A lot of guys had like deep interest in Bitcoin, and they used to come and meet me in meetups. And the one main question used to come down to boil down to is, how do we get hold of this Bitcoin? And for me, that was like the key thing. For me, the way I understood after like knowing about Bitcoin is when I experienced Bitcoin by holding it in my phone, my wallet. That experience doubled the interest of Bitcoin. So with that, my knowledge, I really wanted the Indian public who know about Bitcoin, who wants to experience Bitcoin, should be able to buy Bitcoin easily in India. So that was the main start. That's where the inception of UnoCoin happened. There was another gentleman along with me called Sunny Ray who was helping me, build this together. We recruited a person called Satvik, and eventually Satvik is the person now managing UnoCoin, and UnoCoin is doing really well. The idea, of course, at the bottom was, to help Indian people get hold of some Bitcoins in India with INR without them going through the difficulty of changing it to dollars and sending dollars outside to, experience some crypto. This I'm talking about in 2013, right? In 12 and 13, where there were no exchanges, and people were looking forward to having an exchange in India to help Indians. So that just made me do this. There was no other way I would have satisfied the Indian customers with any other exchange from abroad. It had to be in house. So that brought us to UnoCoin.
So Unicorn actually set the ball rolling for all the Bitcoin and blockchain technology in India. So here's one of the articles that was published in 2014, and you also managed to get an investment from a US investor, Barry Silbert, like around $250,000. So tell us more about that. What motivated those guys to actually look into Indian companies?
So what happened with UnoCoin is it was a great success, followed by our conference. Our conference was a great success to launch UnoCoin, and then eventually our UnoCoin was doing so well under the banner UnoBit Solutions. We started off with a great customer base, and we had some international customers. And eventually the news spread to the globe, and then the US investors were very interested in seeing how this Indian exchange has set up itself and then doing so well. So they contacted us. When they contacted us, it was us who were talking. It was me especially talking to Barry, and all Barry's idea was to see how his money is going to be safe and how his money is going to be, as an investor, anybody would want their money double. So I gave the promise to Barry saying that this is what our model is, this is the need that is there, and this is how our regulators are looking at it, and this is how we have posed ourselves in front of them and explained them what Bitcoin technology is all going to be. And Barry was very impressed with what we had in place. So he was very happy to actually do the transfer of our investment. The investment went through a little bit better than what I would have expected, because Barry was up and waiting, and we were up and waiting for our investment. We were the first ones or the only ones. We had all the tools ready for Barry to get confidence in us. That got us our investment. I think that's all. I do talk about these things to the newcomers in the Bitcoin space, so that they also get some confidence to eventually understand that there are investors who are happy to invest, as long as you have something solid building around Bitcoin, blockchain, and the technology of it.
Oh, that's awesome. So now there are some startups that you're currently working at, right? So tell us more about that. What are these startups about? How is it actually helping community, and what are those things happening now?
So again, it's like a bank for a country, right? We don't have just one bank. We have many banks. All of them have a little diverse, ideas to how to serve public. So with that idea, I've now ventured into many exchange ideas and helping people do the startup. One of them is Try Bitcoin. The other one is Insta Crypto. Try Bitcoin allows people to try to get hold of like a little Bitcoin easily, quickly, so that their experience begins from there. That's how I believe big experience of crypto begins once you hold a crypto by yourself. because it's like the freedom, that's how you have it in your hand. So with that was Try Bitcoin, and eventually looking at the diversion the Bitcoin is taking, or the cryptocurrencies are taking into altcoins, and how these other cryptocurrencies are becoming very popular and famous for what they solve in the real world scenario. Say Bitcoin solved the asset scenario, I would say, to start with. It does a lot more. I don't want to go into all the deep things because you guys know about it. So what does altcoins do? Altcoins fix those small issues that Bitcoin has. Bitcoin may not be doing block transfers instantly. It takes 10 minutes. Other cryptos do it instantly. Transaction costs a little bit higher in Bitcoin. Other cryptos do transactions instantly, and cheaper, and very cheaper in a way. Some of them are even free. Those features are really helpful. If you take Ethereum does even contracts on it, right? So you can write contracts. This is the future of how technology is going to be used. So all these altcoins are bringing in a class of its own, and then they have certain value. Our Insta Crypto is going to help people get on to the other cryptos also, because we don't want to restrict people into just Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is not the only crypto today. It was definitely the first one and the daddy of all, but we have others who are also as popular and as important. So we're bringing in all others into the space.
So is Insta Crypto live now, and people can go ahead and place orders on Insta Crypto? Or
we don't have Insta Crypto live yet, but very soon we will be. But there is no delay in that. The process is rolling already. We've got the technology ready. We've got the support from the banks and the authorities, and the base for it, which is the incorporation and the company registered and everything. So all set. We're going to soon launch it, and have people experience crypto in a quicker fashion than the other exchanges.
Okay, that's awesome, Vikram. So we definitely look forward for Insta Crypto. Hopefully we'll make some more posts about Insta Crypto on our channel very soon. So moving on, I wanted to speak about meetups. So your meetups are actually one of the biggest or the largest growing meetups in India today. So you currently have 3 meetups, and all 3 meetups have huge number of people, and I do see that there's large turn up of people who come up to your meetups and ask questions about them. So can you tell us more about these meetups? Where do you usually hold these meetups, and how often do you hold it, and how can people get access to these meetups?
Let's start with the access of how you can get a hold of these meetups. You just log on to meetup.com, and if you're in Bangalore, you'll be able to see In Crypto We Trust.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and leave the links in the description below as well. Okay.
Thank you, brother. So that was the first one I started. When I started In Crypto We Trust, a lot of interest came from public, and then they got on, they registered. We started having meetups, physical meetups in a lot of locations in Bangalore, and eventually online also, because online helped people get hold of me through a computer from their comfort of this house, because traveling in Bangalore is not the easiest thing. It's full of traffic. So that was my first meetup, and what I learned from Bangalore meetup, of course I gave a lot of knowledge because I've been in Bitcoin from a long time, but I gained a lot of knowledge from people because they had such diverse questions, and I would classify Bangalore group as more technically strong people. Then when I diversified myself into Bombay meetup, the interest was huge again. I did a lot of physical meetups in local areas, in a few cafes around Bombay. People were very interested in Bitcoin, and the difference between the Bangalore meetup and Bombay meetup is that the Bombay meetup guys were strong with their financial knowledge. They were not just as technical as Bangaloreans were, but they were financially very strong. It helped me understand a lot more in how Indian scenario is going to be and accepting Bitcoin and crypto in future. With that ongoing learning that I had, my meetups growing so strong because of the experience that I can give out and then answer people's question and give them some insights that they would have never got, because otherwise it takes long time today to do any kind of research on specifically a few things that you want to look for. Eventually I did a meetup in Jaipur also. So there are 3 meetups that we have in total. Jaipur also is slowly picking up. It's got very strong interest. The volumes are not there, that's it. A few people, but great people, and my physical meetup in Jaipur was also a great success.
Okay, and we also did a collab last time, and we did a meetup that had some technical issues, and that didn't go that well. But still, we were able to complete the meetup. Few people had some issues, but I think that's okay when we rely on technology. That's to be expected. So, when is your next meetup coming up?
So my next meetup is on the 25th of November, the next Saturday. I guess it's just a week from now. Soon we will have at least once in a month. Right now, the meetups are like spread around for Bombay, Bangalore, and Jaipur. Being online, I'm trying to get hold of more people and bring in more cities into the meetups. That's just one of those things.
Okay, now comes the important news. Now, when I spoke to you last, I asked you whether you'll be interested to join with Indy Crypto because you have so much knowledge about Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and blockchain, and we are basically providing all the tools, all the knowledge and content related to all this. So you were thinking a little at that point of time, but you finally come down and you wanted to go ahead and host your meetup as well on Indie Crypto right now. So first of all, thank you very much for that, and we're very happy to have you on board. And yeah, tell us more about that. What do you feel about like Indie Crypto? Have you gone through the videos and website by any chance?
Yes, let me just start. Thank you very much, Prajwal, for bringing me on to Indie Crypto because Indie Crypto is a great platform. As one person who understands Bitcoin and blockchain, I might not be able to cover everything that's there in this space now because the space is going wider and then the ideas are bigger. Seeing Indie Crypto, you've covered all the videos of the latest news that's going on with ICOs, with folks and everything. It's not easy for one person to understand everything, but I can give my experience from the past with Bitcoin and how the technology has helped people understand this concept. With your collaboration, I think we can bring in a lot more interest to people and a lot more knowledge. That's the main thing. We want to engage the Indian public and the people who are understanding about Bitcoin and blockchain. They have a lot of questions today. We want one portal to answer those kind of questions and help them, navigate from there to other different things, specifically like meetups, like exchanges, like anything that's going to be helpful for the Indian public. In Indian public, we have many in my past who've come as entrepreneurs, as developers, and as interested individuals, including investors. So for the last 5 years that I've seen, many people who came as novice are now good entrepreneurs and good developers. So that kind of growth is brings happiness to me, and I think Indie Crypto is going to do that more for the future public.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that, Vikram. That was really nice of you. Now we'll be doing more such video, guys. Vikram will also be creating a lot of content for you guys. So if you have any questions or any suggestions or requests about any content that you want to hear from Vikram himself, you can always leave it in the comment section below. They will definitely look on the needs and what is the majority of questions, and we'll try covering them in our upcoming videos. Now, speaking specifically about the meetup that's going to happen on 25th of November, that's going to be happening on the YouTube channel of Indie Crypto. We'll be going live on the Indie Crypto YouTube channel, and we'll be holding the meetup there on 25th of November. So what's the time, Vikram? What's the Indian time for this?
It's going to be at the 4:30 p.m. IST. So I look forward to meeting a lot more people this time because the interest is huge, bigger than the previous one. So yeah, guys, come over. It's, as you can see very clearly where the channel is, where the meetup's going to happen. It's youtube.com/Indie Crypto. Leave your questions and we'll get them answered. That's.
Okay, so the next question I wanted to ask was, what are the topics that you usually cover in these meetups, and what are the kind of audience you expect? Are they all beginners or are they experts? What is the kind of audience you usually get on the meetups?
It's a nice question. I think a lot of people ask this specific question. The topics are going to be, of course, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, the thing that's the latest thing that's happening. A little bit of ICOs because people have some questions on that. A little bit about fintech, about a lot of large companies come in. representatives of the large companies, I must say. So all of this is going to be the topics. In terms of the interest from people or the level of interest of people, I get a range from beginners to experts. Some people would have done a lot more work in the crypto space and the blockchain technology space than a few. A few are very, very new. They would have just heard about Bitcoin and come into the meetup. We try and balance everybody and get everybody's questions answered. And most of these newcomers, we're trying to make this portal like Indy Crypto will be the base for them to understand, so that they're not left about nothing goes over their head in terms of when we talk about ICOs and we talk about technology and everything. So I would suggest that if you're a beginner, before coming to the meetup, just have a look at the single portal at least, which is Indy Crypto. Go through the content and you will probably be a little bit more better than a beginner.
Okay, that's great. So in case our subscribers or our viewers have to contact you, is there anywhere like your socials or anywhere they can contact you, or can they contact you through Indy Crypto? So how will that work?
Yeah, I guess that's the right question, Prajwal. To contact me, you guys can go ahead and contact me through indycrypto.com. That's like one of the main portals that I'm going to be supporting and helping people understand everything about crypto. So shoot your questions, come up with whatever that you want to know, and post it on indycrypto.com and subscribe to this. Also, if you are very clear about what you want to know, and if you want to check in terms of the background and everything, LinkedIn is also a great channel. My Meetup platform is also a great channel where I have meetups. You can contact me through any of those.
Okay, and one more thing I wanted to tell was about Instagram. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram, guys. So Vikram will also be holding few live sessions on our Instagram. So if people you have not subscribed to our Instagram channel, go ahead and subscribe to our Instagram portal as well, and you'll be seeing a lot of Vikram going live, and you can ask your questions live with Vikram and get your answers as well. So that's it, Vikram. So anything else you want to add to this?
No, I'm fine. I think it was a great conversation, Prajal. Well, we'll look forward to all you guys. See us on instagram.com/Indy Crypto.
Okay. Thank you very much, Vikram. And once again, welcome on board. And we look forward for a lot of content coming our way.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.